After an exciting return to the Czech Republic, round 3 of the S1GP season sees the teams and riders head to Spain and the Circuito a Madalena Forcarei, a flowing 1.2-kilometre layout that will provide plenty of challenges for our competitors and require aggressive riding to make up positions. The circuit sits in the beautiful Galicia region of Spain, which hosts some of the most beautiful coastal views in the country.
Camina a Galicia.
To the track then, and before the weekend's action, we found 2 tour guides to talk us around Forcarei. Let's hear from Mark Rayner-Schmidt and Mikael Brian Amadeo. We are at the second turn of the circuit. It's a turn where we arrive pretty fast. We exit the first turn in 3rd gear, so when we get here we downshift to 2nd gear. It's a heavy braking, harsh corner, but still fast, and the way you do it directly influences turn 3. It'll be very interesting during the Super Final because this is where the Joker lane will be. We have to enter it once during the Super Final, so this turn will be a very strategic place.
Here we are in one of the most difficult parts from the track. We exit in the off-road and come here uphill, small left and then a fast right, go up to 4th gear. And then we come here to a difficult chicane where we have to brake first right. You can see here also the lines from the tires. So it's quite dirty, especially after we put a little bit water in the off-road. And immediately we go 2 gears down and turn the bike to the left. It's very important to clean the tires as good as you can to have a maximum grip in the last corners before you go to the long finish straight. For overtake is nearly impossible, maybe we will see something in the race. But yeah, very important for good lap times and a good pace during the race.
So now it is time to take a ride around the Forcarei track with Schmidt and Amadeo. We have a thumbs up from Mark. Here we go. Off the line, and it's a short run to the first sweeping right-hander. Once they're through this corner, there's barely a chance to straighten your lean angle before the next right, which is a slower 180-degree bend. And one of a few potential passing opportunities, the first left-hander opens up for another short blast to yet another quite long and slightly slower turn. This leads into a couple of S-bends, during which the riders will be readying themselves for our dirt section, which these two head on to now. It is quite a rough dirt section here, as you can see. We do get a chance to build momentum at first before this right-hand bend, the first of several tight corners in succession. Another possible chance to muscle past for position here, it must be said, and they do pick up some speed round here as well. Off the final berm, over the tabletop and back onto the tarmac with the fastest section of the track. A fairly quick left is followed by a blast down to the final couple of corners. It doesn't look like we'll be slowing quite enough for this to be a passing area, but the final lap can often skew those definitions. Back onto the start-finish straight then, and that's a lap here at Forcarei. Our title winner having some fun, as he does whenever he's on the bike. Our points leader, Mark Rayner-Schmidt, comes into this one well aware that he has 2 very worthy adversaries chasing him down, defending champion Thomas Charret and MTR KTM's Lucas Holbacher.
We are in Forcarei. Lucas is at really good condition now. We have just to work a little bit with the constance because he's very fast. During the race, the last 2-3 laps, he lost a little bit the concentration, makes some small mistake, but I believe in him and I'm sure we can win. I spend all my energy, financial and hour of my life, because I believe in this project. It will be hard for Thomas and for Mark. We will fight till the last lap of the last race in Castelletto Branduzzo.
Tom now is second in the championship, 13 points behind Mark Schmidt. We know that will be a tough race for the championship. We saw in the first two races that just three riders can fight for the victory. We work a lot in the last time to give him the best material as possible and give him a good bike. And so we hope in this race he can start to gain some points to Mark. We know also well Mark because we give the factory bike, so they have the same bike. Would be really nice. We keep the eyes also on Lucas, that is quite fast. We give our best to try to get back the championship.
We arrive at this race with our top rider, Mark Schmidt, holding a few points advantage in the championship. This does not give us complete peace of mind because there are still several battles to be fought. We worked a lot on the preparation of the bike because the rider is already in good stead. We are here to maintain our position in the standings. All the right things are there, even if it will not be an easy race.
Anche se non sarà certo una gara facile.
Grid for race 1, determined by Superpole. It's the familiar number 4 of Charles Rare on pole then, with Holbacher and Schmidt also on the front row. Two more Phoenix entries on row 2, Sitniansky and Sammartin, joined by Amadeo. Diego Monticelli heads row 3 ahead of Chico and Patrick Pals. Alberto Mozzaretti is on row 4, while Portuguese riders Marques and Rego have made the trip north to join us in Galicia. Race 1 underway then, and it looks as though Lucas Holbacher is the man with the whole shot into turn 1. Yes, Charret follows him through into second, and in third place is Milan Sitniansky. So Sitniansky has got the better start over Mark Schmidt, who's down there in 4th position. Holbacher it is who leads in the early going then, the rider of the MTR KTM. Has looked good around here. He is carrying a little bit of a wrist injury from the Czech Republic, but it doesn't seem to be slowing him down at all. Third place there is still Milan Sitniansky, who had a very promising performance, of course, in his home country, the Czech Republic, and that form seems to have carried on over into Spain. We have Monticelli here in P7, so we'll be getting various views of the race from his point of view during this weekend. And look at this, Charles Rare all over the back of Holbacher. This could be a very interesting battle between the two of them, particularly if Schmidt keeps getting held up, just trying to get back through into third place. We'll see how long it takes him to get past Sitniansky, or indeed whether Sitniansky can hold him off. Into the dirt again, and it's still Holbacher just about at the head of the field. You can see how much quicker they're going now through the dirt section than we saw on the guide lap with Schmidt and Amadeo now. Deceptively quick dirt section actually here at Forqueray. Charret maybe just falling off the back of Holbacher a little bit. Holbacher very happy with the MTR KTM, not as happy with his own consistency though. He's looking to try and make amends for some early errors in the 2021 season here in Spain. Well, in the early stages of this first race, it looks like he's doing a great job of doing so. Still sideways, of course, it is Lucas Holbacher. Even if he is trying to be a little more careful, he's still going to be one of the most fun riders to watch in the S1GP paddock. Onto the dirt he goes again. We're still in touch, and in third place, just in the back of shot there, we saw that Schmidt is through into P3, but he's a way back from the top two. I think we're going to see Schmidt challenge for any further positions than third place here. Here's Monticelli, someone slowing beside him. That was Elias Sammartin in the third of the Phoenix motorcycles. So Sammartin on the other TM having some issues there. Here's Lucas Holbacher. Got a rider ahead going slowly, and it seems as though Holbacher's hesitating there. I think Holbacher maybe thought there were red flags or something like that. He slowed down, and Tom Charret has taken advantage and cuts his nose off as Holbacher tries to get back through, but I think think Holbacher did think there was a pause to the race there, and there wasn't. It was merely a back marker. And suddenly Tom Charret is back at the head of the order on bike number 4. Back to the familiar sight of the blue and yellow TM at the head of the order. Can Holbacher respond, or will Charret run away with this opportunity that he's been granted? It's not very often that Tom Charret allows a lead to slip through his fingers once he's got one. Holbacher all over the back of him as they go over the jumps once more. Is Holbacher trying to apply pressure here? You can see the gap is building in Charret's favour, but there goes Charret. That's Charret down. Lucas Holbacher through into the lead of the race with 6 to go. And that was a critical mistake from Thomas Charret. A critical mistake, and a rare one at that as well. Lucas Holbacher now with a big gap to Mark Rayner-Schmidt, who has inherited 2nd place. The MTR KTM rider now only has to get to the finish. What a turn up for the books that is. Tom Charret does not make mistakes on a regular basis. We know that. He's an 8-time world champion for a reason. Extraordinary scenes here in Forqueray. Meanwhile, Amadeo having to hold off Diego Monticelli. It's Yamaha versus TM. Oh, and Amadeo down! Monticelli did very well to avoid getting involved in that incident himself. He's moved up another position as a result of that, but that will have been heart in the mouth for both riders. Holbacher, just a few corners left to run here. Schmidt in 2nd place. This will strengthen his bid to keep the red plate, of course, with Tom Charret behind him. And there is the checkered flag for Lucas Holbacher. Holbacher, for a moment there, it looked like he'd maybe lost the win, but he managed to get it in the end. Schmidt does take 2nd place, then Charret picked up the bike and recovered to 3rd. Sitnianski 4th, and Monticelli rounding out the top 5. Amadeo also managed to get back on the bike and take 6th position.
Start was perfect. I did the whole shot, and after I tried to push to go away from Mark and Thomas, I just see that Mark had one problem and lost some time. Thomas also, so I go in 1st position and could take it to the finish line, and it was perfect. I'm really happy for the first victory with Franco, and I think it can change something now, because it's more easy to understand now the racing. When you are in front, it's not so easy.
On to Sunday morning then, and the opportunity for riders to reconnect with the Spanish fans for the first time since our previous visit in 2019. We had plenty of excited spectators, young and old, at Forqueray as the S1GP circus readied up for 2 more action-packed races. Some in the paddock did get the opportunity to relax a little bit, maybe even get a spot of breakfast. But some were getting ready to ride. So then, race 2, the fast race underway, and it looks as though Lucas Holbacher once again has the best start. Does he hold the lead? Yes, he does. But it looks as though Charret is trying to go all the way around the outside if he possibly can, but has to settle for 2nd place. Schmidt holds on to 3rd this time around, so he's not going to have to work his way back up onto the podium positions. Monticelli sits there a little further back in 6th place, just behind Elia Sammartin. Of course, we saw Sammartin have a few issues in the previous race. Of course, he has had, the team have had all of Saturday night and Sunday morning to get the bike back into full condition. It's Holbacher then on the MTR KTM that leads the way. Thomas Charret lurking there in 2nd place. The Frenchman is going to try and apply pressure to the Austrian rider. And Holbacher just gets a bit unsettled there, and Charret takes full advantage. Great run off of turn 2. makes the dive inside for turn 3 and takes the position. Thomas Charret into the lead of the race. Still plenty of time for Holbacher to try and retaliate. We've already seen the slightest dent in the armour of Tom Charret here in Spain, and of course that was in the first race. A rare crash for Thomas Charret. Mark Rainer Schmidt there in third position, as well as the wrist injury for Holbacher, who we ride on board with. Mark Rainer Schmidt actually had to quarantine for a couple of weeks before this race. Thankfully was able to join us in Spain, got the all clear. But certainly might not be all the way back to 100% just yet. Look at that big black stripe left by the rear tyre of Lucas Holbacher just there. Holbacher is definitely trying hard. We always credit him with being one of the more exuberant riders on the grid, and we're seeing another example of that there. Monticelli and Amadeo having a battle for 6th position. Monticelli, of course, on the second L30 Racing factory TM. Amadeo lurking on the Yamaha. Have to see whether he can get around Monticelli before the end of the race. Of course, this is one of the more challenging circuits on the calendar to make overtakes on. Something that Tom Charret will no doubt be happy about. He's going to want this win, especially given that error he made in race 1 right here at the final corner. Just a couple of laps left to go, so he's no doubt going to have to, he's no doubt going to have gone to bed on Saturday night. A little bit of a hump. Refocused for Sunday morning. And so far, at least, in this fast race, it's going well for him. Just a few more laps to hold off the advances of Lucas Holbacher. Can Tom Charret get some much-needed points on the board in the fast race? Looked like he was being a little more aggressive on the curbs there than Lucas Holbacher. Holbacher maybe recognising that, particularly since Charret finished 3rd in the first race, taking the victory from him in this fast race might not be of the utmost importance. That said, Lucas never shies away from a fight, and he is closing up on the back of Charret, so perhaps actively proving me wrong almost immediately. He is running out of time to get past Charret. It's as though Mark Rainer Schmidt has fallen off the back of these two. So that's going to allow Holbacher to focus solely on getting past Charret. Let's see if he's up to the task then in these last couple of laps. There is Schmidt, riding a fairly lonely race in 3rd position. 72 following the 4. This weekend it seems as though Charret and Holbacher are on about equal terms, so it's going to be a duel between the two of them. Holbacher, of course, with the advantage coming out of the first race. I don't think he's going to get around Charret before the end of this second race. Nope, the fast race will go to Tom Charret. A little bit of thumbs up there as well from Charret. Some admiration between the two. Charret, Holbacher and Schmidt are top 3. Then it was Sitnianski and Sammartin. Monticelli held off Mikhail Brian Amadeo to round out the top 7.
Yeah, it was a difficult race. I don't take a good start. Lucas started behind me. And after he make a mistake in second lap, I pass him. And after I push, and I won the race. I'm very happy because I crashed yesterday. I lose some points on Mark, so win the first race today is good for the championship and good for the Super Final.
And so the points for the Grand Prix of Spain. Holbacher on top, Charret and Schmidt close behind, all to play for in the Super Final. So the super final, and it's Thomas Charret on pole position alongside Holbacher and Schmidt. Lance Sitnianski heads the second row with Sammartino Monticelli alongside him. Amadeo De Chico and Patrick Pals on row number 3. Then it's Mazzaretti, Rego and Marquez on row number 4. Light is out and they are underway. It's Lucas Holbacher once again with a brilliant start, but Thomas Charret trying to go all the way around the outside. Don't think that's going to work for him. No, he has to yield to Holbacher, and there goes Schmidt. Schmidt making sure he got through into second place there, giving Thomas Charret no room. And Mark Rayner Schmidt, the rider with the red plate, trying to hold on to it. He's still got a few points in hand in the championship. Thomas Charret, certainly his main rival, although the man at the head of the order, Lucas Holbacher, with the performances he's put in so far this weekend, certainly right back in contention. Can Mark Rayner Schmidt do anything to hold off Charret here in the 18 laps we have? Of course, we also have an extra element in play with the Joker lane, which was just on the outside of that second corner that Holbacher just went through. Schmidt doing a good job keeping Charret at bay for the time being, but that's going to be a great battle to watch, and it's allowing Holbacher to disappear up the track at the moment. Absolutely no problems with that. The Austrian rider, who does some brilliant work with KTM. The MTR Supermoto machine is so competitive this year. Some improvements after a positive 2020. It's a genuine championship contending package in 2021. On board with Holbacher, into the Joker lane he goes. Quite a quick Joker lane here. To be careful, but he's back on and he holds on to the lead, so that shows you just how much of a lead he's built up. Schmidt has followed him as well. Charret inheriting second as a result. So how long will Tom Charret hold out here? If he can put in some good laps, he might be able to take the Joker and come back out ahead. Mark Rayner Schmidt. Schmidt there in P3. Holbacher's already taken his Joker. Looks like it doesn't cost people too much time around here. I don't think Charret has enough of a gap yet to take it and come out clear of Schmidt. We'll see if he judges it right. Holbacher, 7 laps left to run. It looks as though Charret is just slightly closing in on him. Given Charret hasn't yet taken the Joker, I think it's too little too late. Charret will be focusing on building a gap over Schmidt, and you saw him there over the jump, taking a look behind him to see where Schmidt is. The answer is quite a way back. I think that's more than enough to take the Joker at this stage if you're Tom Charret. Lucas Holbacher coming on to lap 14 of this race. The win here will give him the victory in the Grand Prix of Spain. And what an achievement that will be for Holbacher, and he does take it with a wheelie across the line. Great result for Lucas Holbacher. He is going to be absolutely elated. You can see that he is. Charret did take the Joker and took second place ahead of Schmidt. Sitnianski, Sammartino, Monticelli rounding out the top 6 of Amadeo, Pals, De Chico and Mazzaretti on the Husqvarna. And so Lucas Holbacher wins the Grand Prix of Spain by 6 points over Charret, who got the extra point for Superpole. Schmidt in third ahead of Sitnianski and Monticelli. Not the best weekend of the year from Mark Rayner Schmidt, who is walking wounded, and I think on that basis he'll be happy to simply be on the podium and to still have the red plate going into the next round. Tom Charret taking second place. He couldn't match Lucas Holbacher here in Spain. Lucas Holbacher and the entire MTR KTM team are going to be absolutely delighted to take home that trophy with them. What a performance here from Lucas Holbacher. Congratulations to MTR KTM.
Feels amazing to stay here. Races was really great. I was on fire, the bike working really good. We did a good job. And in this handicap, which I had on this weekend with the broken wrist from the Czech GP, I was thinking can be really difficult this weekend, but I don't know. I had good days here and bike working really good thanks to the team, KTM MTR team, and I enjoy it really much. And we are already in 2 weeks in Sestria for the next GP, so let's prepare well to be again on top on the podium. Thanks, guys.
And so the title battle much closer after that one. Mark Rayner-Schmidt just 5 points clear of Charrère. Holbacher right back in the picture as well. Sitniansky, Monticelli and Sammartin will also be battling for 4th in the title heading into our next event. We head up into the Alps to the north of Italy to Sestriere, and we will be taking to the streets for 3 more exciting S1GP races.